Okuplok. Considered by many to be the most difficult Doom map ever created. Many players believe it is beyond their abilities. I'm here to help with that. This is Coincident, and you are watching Okuplok Analyzed, a search for the most survivable strategies with the goal of beating Okuplok without mid-fight save games. Let's check out the second fight in the map, the Mastermind Prison. It is of easy difficulty when compared to other fights in the map. After running up the imp staircase, you're locked inside this prison with 1 spider mastermind, 25 barons, and 100 revenants. There's 2 medkits in the corners and a berserk pack behind the barons. There's a plasma gun in the middle, a total of 460 cells, and you should be carrying 100 rockets from previously. The fight begins when you cross this special line on the map, which also triggers the barriers to lock you inside. They only open again with this button behind the barons. So a first approach to this fight would be to leave. This is very tempting because it gives you immediate safety. You can only leave forwards because the backwards path is overrun with imps, lost souls, and pain elementals from the previous fight. They prevent you from grabbing the rockets you left behind, and together with the barons they'll follow you into the next area. Here there's 4 arachnotrons, but worse than that, mancubi will start pouring into the room. You can kill some of them, but you cannot step outside to grab rockets, because a trap full of archviles opens up. Unfortunately, this strategy is not survivable saveless, because you run out of ammo before you can kill the monsters approaching you from both sides.
But wait,
You might say,
there's Cyber Demon.
well, you're right. You can bring the Cyber Demon to infight, but that only helps your ammo problem marginally, and then you'll have a new problem, chaos. It's very hard to provoke infighting as space runs out with time, so your survivability is almost as low as the percent of people who subscribe to my channel. Anyway, it's time to let go of the temptation of leaving. Strategy number 3, stay and fight. Being locked in this arena is a blessing, not a curse. It keeps the previous monsters outside, so you can focus on the monsters inside. Your first problem is the Mastermind. Without the BFG, you need her to infight. She is the first to awake and can deal massive damage before the revenants hit her. Thankfully, this arena has 2 partial safe spots, so run inside, start the fight, and immediately hide in this corner. The revenants to your right are in chase range, so they will not fire rockets at you. The wall covers you from the Mastermind and the other revenants, but be careful when getting into this corner. Too much to the left and the revenants will punch you. Too much to the right and the Mastermind will shoot you. Even on the perfect spot, you can only stay here a few seconds. So before the Baron fireballs hit you and before the Mastermind gets too close, run forward as she will already be infighting. Your second problem are the revenants. They are above you, so you can run under their rockets. With enough space, you can circle strafe indefinitely with 100% safety. So the faster you make this arena look like this, the faster you beat the fight. Which brings us to the third problem, the barons. Commonly known as doors with health, it will take a long time for them to die. And until then, circle strafing will be hard, especially at the start with the Mastermind still alive and the barons blocking the southern part of the arena. So the first loop is the hardest. Start moving close to the edges, and at this point cut through the middle of the arena and do a smaller circle. On the second loop, the barons have moved inwards enough so you can use the entire arena to circle strafe. Be extremely careful when passing the Mastermind, you may be forced to change directions. This is very risky, but getting blocked is much worse. If you want to survive this arena, you cannot stop. The circle strafe keeps you safe from the revenants, but there's 3 situations that'll still kill you. So focus your attention on these. Death sentence number 1, barons blocking you. Stopping is death because of the revenant stack following you. Watch the baron movements carefully and avoid groups that can block you. Smaller loops are usually fine. Death sentence number 2, barons attacking you. Always look ahead of your trajectory for any fireballs aimed at you and improvise your path to dodge them. Also pay attention to the attack animation of the barons. Death sentence number 3, stray fireballs. The same thing applies to infighting barons. Their fireballs hurt just as much if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. You might notice that I'm not firing my weapon. Indeed, this is the pacifist strategy, and there's 4 arguments in favor of not shooting. Number 1, no rockets means no self-damage. Number 2, you get less aggro. The barons move to the edges and fight the revenants instead. Number 3, not shooting means your brain can focus more on dodging and surviving. Number 4, you save ammunition, which is limited at this point. Also, you might be thinking,
Hey, if there's these 2 safe spots here, why not use them more?
well, you can use these spots to destroy a huge revenant stack if it makes your frame rate drop. You can wait in cover for a few seconds and then, before the rockets hit you, start running around again. Unfortunately, this is dangerous. I've ran the numbers. Using this corner means losing 5% survivability and taking 30% more damage. The reason is simple. This wall is both a blessing and a curse. Sure, it blocks some incoming fire, but it also blocks your view. And sometimes, at the very moment you run out, there's a max damage straight revenant rocket just around the corner. After several tests, I concluded that the loss in visibility outweighs the safety of this cover. So just keep looping around and keep your eyes on the road. Here's a full run of the pacifist strategy. If I need healing, I try to grab the Berserk pack first, and then the medkit if the corners are clear. With all the barons dead, I consider the fight beaten. The hard part is over. Going pacifist was my instinct when I first approached this fight. However, there's another strategy, which I will call the shooting strategy. The idea is to fire rockets only at the barons in the center. Do not shoot at the ones infighting. There's 2 arguments in favor of shooting. Number 1, the barons die faster, the fight ends quickly, you're exposed to danger for less time. Number 2, aggro from the barons in the middle will keep them in the middle and separate them from the edge barons, helping you clear a path to walk in between. Here's a full run of the shooting strategy. I usually fire a total of 40 rockets here. Sometimes I stop firing when I want to concentrate on my movement. Small pauses in between waves of rockets are good. They help you keep aggro on the middle barons for longer. Once most of the barons are dead, you can circle straight for a while to save ammo. Now I've ran these two strategies 20 times each in equal conditions. Can you guess which one is more survivable and why? Pause the video now and write your answer in the comments. All done? Good. Here are my results. The Pacifist strategy had a survivability of 85%. On average, I took 114 damage here. This strategy is slower, but it saves ammunition. The shooting strategy had a survivability of 95%. On average, I took 50 damage here. This strategy is faster, but it costs 40 rockets. These results completely surprised me when making this video. I stopped going pacifist and started shooting rockets, and my performance increased substantially. There's a logical reason behind this, which is called monster herding, a top-level Doom technique that involves manipulating monster movement through careful movement of your own together with selective targeting. In very populated fights, monster herding is the key to survive. In this case, the number one cause of death was getting blocked by barons that were moving from the middle to the edge. Shooting the middle barons keeps them in the middle and prevents that from happening. Obviously, these numbers are based on my own playstyle. Results may vary. Try the strategies yourself and see what works best for you. But the video's not over yet. There's still some cleanup left to do. Let's quickly go over what's important. First, kill the revenants with rockets. To avoid self-damage, do smaller circles in the middle of the arena. Once done, use a corner to destroy the revenant stack and warn your 9 million followers that wear headphones to lower their vol. Whoops, too late. Then grab the berserk pack, but don't press the button yet. To save ammunition, stay here and punch out all the imps. This might be boring, but it's 100% safe. When all the imps are dead, open the bars and clear everything else. You can now grab more rockets and kill the caged archviles. Careful with the revenant rockets. Then move downstairs and kill these caged archviles too. Careful with the mancubi fireballs. Finally, you can shoot at this left wall to kill the revenants below. Do not use the front wall to kill them. There will be archviles later and the revenant corpses might get resurrected. That's it, cleanup is done. You're ready for the next challenge. Did this video help you beat the fight? Or perhaps you used another strategy? Tell me all about it in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. Good luck and happy face rockets!